open on the ground. Quick, sprinting to pay dirt. All the way. Gavin Wimsatt.
Okay, the big news that came out of Rutgers yesterday, which was a huge surprise for everyone, was that starting quarterback Gavin Wimsatt has entered the transfer portal upon Greg Schiano naming Athan Kaliakmanis the starting quarterback. Kind of the writing was on the wall when Greg brought in Athan to compete for the quarterback position, maybe something he wouldn't have done in the past, but the program's at a crossing point. And you reach that point where you can't just hold on to players, let them hold on to their positions because you really like them. Make no mistake, Gavin was a good guy, entered school early, wanted to be here, great family, said and did all the right things, good locker room guy. He just didn't evolve. I think Athan is a little bit better. You know, the spring game, I think he was a notch above. There wasn't a huge distance between them, but I think for the first time in a while, we're going to be able to complete a screen pass, an out pattern, a slant pattern. Athan is going to be much more accurate in those short to medium distant throws. And on the long throws too. He had one in the spring game to Brantley, and they seen Brantley, that was right on the money. I think a smart quarterback game manager, even if he's not as athletic as Gavin, great arm, really good burst. He can run really well. Had 2 touchdowns rushing, 1 touchdown passing in the spring game. Doesn't have the touch, the nuance, and the accuracy, and we've been talking about this for years. And if there's anything that the spring game showed, it showed that Gavin is still Gavin. 8 of 16, I think it was like 75 yards, 70 yards, something like that. 65 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns rushing. Great burst in a running game, and we'll miss that. But a lot of his runs and his almost 500 yards rushing last year were on design runs, and I thought they were sitting in section 124. Gavin missed a lot of opportunities on those RPOs where he could have kept the ball because he had the edges wide open. And every game, it drove me absolutely nuts. I wish he would have run the ball more in those situations. I don't know what the stats are. We had to lead the nation in 4th and 1, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, 4th and 2. We'd get 3 yards, 3 yards, 3 yards, and then would get predictable with those design Wimsatt runs. And, you know, occasionally it worked, and a lot of the time it didn't. But I did get a sense after a while that if we were going to be successful, I preferred Gavin to run it when he had the opportunity more than to throw it, because the pass could wind up anywhere. We were ahead against Michigan and Ohio State in the second half last year. There were a bunch of games where we were ahead and a bad turnover. Some of those throws were kind of crazy and wacky and weren't all on Gavin. Nonetheless, I think a game manager who's smart, who can make accurate short to medium throws like Athan is probably going to lift the program to another level. I think there's 1 or 2 games right to 9 wins. You know, some mistakes, some inability to throw the ball cost you. Iowa, the offense was absolutely putrid. There were games that we could have won last year when we were 5 and 7. You know, when if Vedral was in there, we probably would have, won 6 and 6, 7 and 5, because he didn't make as many mistakes. But the situation with Gavin and Rutgers was remarkably similar to the Jets. You know, great defense, had to hang in there the whole game where the offense struggled. You had high hopes for highly rated quarterbacks that didn't really pan out. Injuries galore, multiple offensive line combinations, no weapons whatsoever. It's not all on Gavin, but nonetheless, he didn't show enough improvement, and the opportunities that he had to complete open passes, he just didn't. A lot of throws overthrown in the dirt. And so we're turning the page and moving on. We wish Gavin nothing but the best. maybe a group of 5 kind of school would be a place or an opportunity for him to really showcase his wares, where the pressure it isn't on him to carry a Big Ten program. I think he could do okay there, and I hope he does well. A lot of discussions, and Aaron Brightman has talked about this, and Richie and Mike on the Night Report, and Rutgers ran with Steve Politi, Brian Fonseca, talking about, well, should Greg Schiano have done this? A lot of programs, would have not told them until after the transfer portal date termination. That's kind of, you can't build trust in your program, and you can't build a culture if you're going to pull stuff like that. Maybe, Alabama or Georgia can get away with that because there's just a constant pipeline of 4- and 5-star athletes. But we're building a particular kind of program with a particular kind